Good evening, customers of Knowhere Games and Comics. It's me, Matthias, here with your weekly live stream of all the awesome new comics that are out today, October 23rd, 2019, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. Yes, it's your favorite day of the week where I sit here and wave my fingers around and get mocked by Ken in the background of this live stream. And of course, I have our wonderful Corbin Dallas, the great Richard Rubello, who will come in and say one word and then likely just nod and back away. Or he'll just shout about John Romita Jr. a lot. Let's point at him. Most talkative guy I know. So, before we get into all the awesome new comics that came out today, I want to talk to you about what's happening this weekend. What's happening this weekend, you might ask? Well, it's Halloween Comic Fest. It is the free comic book day of the fall. It is the preparation for the greatest day of costumes and cosplay around there. And you can experience it all here on Saturday, October number 26th. Yeah, thank you guys. Welcome to the surrounding applause of laughter. But, yeah, so Halloween Comic Fest will be this week, starting at noon on Saturday. You can come in here, you can get free comic books. You can meet the very amazing comic artist that I'm telling you all for the first time today. Mark Habiger is going to be in here doing sketches for young comic collectors. So make sure you bring your kids. They get to, dress up in costumes. We'll be having a costume contest later in the evening. And you can submit your costume to HalloweenComicFest.com for the chance of some really big prizes from the greatest comic book publishers and the great comic distributor Diamond. All sorts of fun stuff. All here, along with other amazing sales and deals that will be listed on our Facebook, other social media, and websites tomorrow morning, or today, depending on when you're watching this live stream. So, with that all said, let's dive directly into the fun new comics that are coming this week, because there are some really fun ones, one that I'm going to be raving about like no end, but we'll start off with reprints of Absolute Carnage. Nothing really needs to be said here, but they are some beautiful, beautiful various printing covers that you might want to come check out. We're going to jump into Action Comics number 1016, which brings Naomi into Metropolis to team up with the great Superman. Agents of Atlas hits its third of 5 issues as Greg Pak continues to show us the awesome Asian part of the Marvel Universe. Aliens Rescue hits the 4th issue from Dark Horse. And then we get to The Amazing Mary Jane. The Amazing Mary Jane comes out of the events that happened in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 25, and Leah Williams, one of my favorite writers currently in comics, does an awesome story as Mary Jane gets cast as the lead female role in an upcoming film about Spider-Man's great villain, Mysterio. This interesting biopic has a lot of twists and turns in its production as Mary Jane fights to have a more valuable and realistic role in the film, and you get a great look at Mary Jane and Peter Parker's wonderful and goofy relationship. Not only do we get a great Humberto Ramos cover here, but there are blanks. There's a great Art Germ cover somewhere, theoretically, in here we're all sold out of, and lots of wonderful variants, such as that beautiful 1:25 ratio variant right there. Speaking of Amazing Spider-Man, he also had his issue 32 of Nick Spencer's run, come out today, starting the new 2099 tale. Yes, it crosses over with Miguel O'Hara's timeline of the year 2099 in the Marvel Universe, and all the various characters there, as well as some other upcoming events. If you need more Spider-Man, because sometimes you just can't get enough of that Peter tingle, Amazing Spider-Man Full Circle, a one-shot by some of the top writers and artists in the comic book industry, is out today. As you get Jonathan Hickman, Chris Bachalo, Gary Dugan, who I'm really loving today, Greg Smallwood, Nick Spencer, the main writer of Spider-Man, Mike Allred, Kelly Thompson, one of my favorite writers at comics right now, Valerio Schiti, who's a great artist, or Valerio Schiti, Al Ewing, Chris Sprouse, Chip Zdarsky, Rachel Stott, Jason Aaron, yes, Jason Aaron, Cameron Stewart, and Mark Bagley, all on this awesome, awesome tale that deals with S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury, and so much more. Angel continues its Hellmouth crossover with Buffy and the Hellmouth miniseries in its 6th issue, the second part of our Hellmouth storyline. Aquaman has its 2nd annual out today with Kelly Sue DeConnick continuing her great run on it and some awesome covers, but only the A cover available today. Archie vs. Predator 2 hits its 3rd issue today. Great covers always on that. You can never go wrong with this great combination of 2 wonderfully wholesome, heroic heroes. Ascender, the sequel to Descender by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, hits its 6th issue and also has its trade for the first 5 issues out today. Well, Avengers 25 is going to lead us to talking to the great Richard Robello after I show you that beautiful, beautiful Mary Jane cover and the wonderful Alex Ross Scarlet Witch cover. But we're going to show the main cover because as I pull this back to Richard, he's going to tell you why it's so important.
This is the finale of the Challenge of the Ghost Riders. It's the where you find out the winner of the high-stakes race through hell between the Ghost Riders. And it ends with there being some serious consequences for the loser. Ultimately, the winner takes the throne of hell. So it's definitely high action, high energy. And if you've been reading the series, you definitely need to grab this one so you figure out who wins. I don't want to spoil it at all because, like I said, there is some major consequences for the Ghost Rider that loses.
And would you say those major consequences go into the aptly named Ghost Rider comic series that's now coming out?
It definitely would make it that much difficult for the loser to proceed in that's for sure.
Good to know. Avengers, continuing the race of the Ghost Riders. Stacy's Pick of the Week is Aftershock's Bad Reception, a very fun and interesting comic where some high-end celebrities give up all their mobile devices for a friend's wedding on a secret island where a murderer begins to start attacking the guests. Moving over to Batgirl, issue number 40 is out, another Year of the Villain tie-in. Well, Batman has its 4th issue of Curse of the White Knight, Ken's wonderful pick of the week with 2 great covers. I do love this Alfred cover, but there is a great, great Batgirl cover as well. We're just going to focus on Sean Murphy's beautiful, though, sword-wielding Alfred. Beyond the Demon of the Sea from the great Source Point Press is a wonderful one-shot of piracy done in the art style of traditional tattoos. Black Adam, Year of the Villain, gets its one-shot by Paul Jenkins out. It is the Infected King Shazam versus Black Adam, the True King of Kahndaq. It is a brutal, fist-bloodying battle that really will surprise you, especially considering neither of these men are too nice or too good in this scenario. Books of Magic, it's its 13th issue, continuing the great Cat Howard-written Sandman universe tie-in. We, of course, still have our Hellmouth. If you need the precursing, one of those issues before the Great Angel number 6. And then we get Count Crowley. This one I am actually quite in love with, and I'm going to talk with George on this.
George, get over here.
Richard. All right, how you doing, Richard? So Count Crowley is actually a really fun, new, goofy concept about a local news anchor who talks her way into losing her job and finds herself hosting a late-night horror series. And her alcoholism definitely puts some intense limitations and great comedy into it. What are your thoughts on this, Richard?
This was exactly what we expected when we were discussing this in the FOC live stream. It just, like I said, it reminded me of those late-night horror shows like Tales from the Crypt or Elvira, things like that when you watched as a kid. Yeah, kind of imagine Elvira, but like with the commentary of, what's it called?
Drunken Hatred?
Drunken Hatred, yes. No, shoot, I was thinking of it earlier and I can't remember anymore. I apologize. There's just a lot more comedic to it, and it's a lot of fun. I wish this was actually a TV show. I'd watch it.
I'm hoping it becomes one.
It is that funny, especially when she's on the air. It's hysterical. So, it's if you're looking for a good lighthearted horror comedy type of thing and you're into those 80s style TV shows, it's definitely worth picking up.
Yeah. And much like the wonderful Vampirella film from the 1980s, you're going to have not just, the tale of this wonderful and goofy alcoholic protagonist, but there are some paranormal enemies afoot.
Yep. And MST3000 was the commentary I was trying to think of. That's kind of what she does while she's like broadcasting the show. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, definitely a great one, so you're definitely going to want to check that out. As well as, if you haven't already grabbed it, Dark Age issue number 1, the newest printing is now available. This fun, I don't even know how to best describe this. This fun reset of modern-day America into a medieval fashion is a great read from the wonderful people at Red 5. We have Dial H for Hero, the classic concept with a new wielder of the dial-based phone. Issue number 8 out today from the great Sam Humphries. I know, I can't talk today. Sam Humphries, yeah, I love that man. Dr. Mirage is out with issue number 3 from Valiant. Got some great covers there. Mags Visaggio is doing a kick-ass job. Mags also has a new TV series coming to Sci-Fi soon, if you're not already aware of The Vagrant Queen. Fathom, issue number 6. We finally got in those missing Sia variants from last week, so if you haven't had a chance to grab those, grab those. And if you haven't read Fathom at all yet, grab the wonderful Knowhere exclusive issue number 1. Fearless wraps up today in the anthology of the fiercest ladies of the Marvel Universe with some of the best female creators in Marvel's wonderful, wonderful array of creators. I really am just bombing my words today. Thank you all for watching. Great series. You have some fun little anthology short stories featuring everyone from Storm, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Namora I thought was really, really cool, and Invisible Woman I think was also the other one in there. Really, really fun stuff. Speaking of great Marvel female protagonists, how about Luna Snow, one of the gals from Agents of Atlas, who is finally getting her background story given to us in this wonderful one-shot. Future Avengers also get a little backup story in there, but this is part of the Future Fight first storyline. Great Sonic Takeda cover right there, too, I want to point out, that you're definitely going to want to check out. And as if all 3 of those covers weren't absolutely beautiful, that one will floor you. Ghost Spider hits her 3rd issue as she continues her troubling campaign and trying to go to college in the main Marvel Universe and fighting evil. Great Mary Jane variant with Spider-Gwen on it right there. Moving on, we have G.I. Joe number 2, the new series from IDW. House of X, as you all know, House of X and Powers of 10 are the great new start to the X-Men. Everything that you once knew is still canon, but we're getting a brand new age where things are not all that they seem. All 6 issues are currently in stock. Now is the time to stock up. And then Immortal Hulk 25. It is hardly the end of this series as it will continue onward, but Al Ewing has some great plans and has a epic ending, or well, I don't know, I'd call it an ending here.
Not an ending, definitely. They've already announced that this is continuing. Al Ewing does what he's done best for a long time, and gone into the cosmology of Marvel again with this book. It is absolutely fantastic. It's a double-sized issue. A lot of great artwork in it. Jumps all the way forward to, if you remember from the last issue, if you're reading the books, where, I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't caught up, Cesar. But in this issue, you get to see what the 9th Cosmos is going to be like, and Hulk is smashing his way through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a fast-paced read, but it's what I used to love reading on the cosmology. It's very, sci-fi-ish, and looking forward to what they do from going forward with the 9th Cosmos.
Yeah, and if you love that Alex Ross cover that Richard is holding, we also have a few other wonderful variants available, including a great Mary Jane cover, and a beautiful, beautiful one right up there. And if you're a big fan of the Hulk and have never read, or God forbid, own The Incredible Hulk #1, a very, very expensive book, you can grab a wonderful facsimile edition of that now, reprinted exactly as it was originally in the 1960s, with the original advertisements as well. You cannot beat a $4 copy of the first appearance of Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Iron Maiden hits its 3rd issue, finally, of Legacy of the Beast, the new comic from Heavy Metal. Justice League Dark hits its 16th issue this week with a beautifully, beautifully well done deceased cover. Joker and Harley, the story of serial killers in an alternate DC universe, is still available, as is the absolutely awesome Harleen, which is gone. No, there it is. Right there. Harleen. So you can grab Stephen Sage's amazing origin of how Harleen Quinzel becomes Harley Quinn. King Thor hits its 2nd issue as we deal with the return of an evil god that appeared at the end of issue number 1, and some awesome, awesome battles. Lola XOXO hits its 3rd issue from the great guys and gals at Aspen, specifically Sia who seems to handle this entire book by herself. She is an incredibly, incredibly talented woman on that. We have Mark #1 still, soon to be a TV series, we do hope, as David Hine and Brian Haberlin present us witches with tattoo-based powers, and we still have a few signed copies by the great Brian Haberlin, who was with us this last Saturday. Love when Brian's in here. He is an absolutely amazing guy. If you didn't get a chance to see the FOC video that was put up on Saturday, I'd go back and watch that. You can see some of the cool sketches he did. And then, the best X-Men book. Forget House, forget Powers, forget X-Men #1. And as far as I'm concerned, it does not get better than Marauders. Oh my God. I'm going to go to our wonderful House of X and Powers of 10 expert here, Richard, to talk about how absolutely amazing Marauders was.
It's all right.
You're out. He's fired. No. We're done on this. House of X is the best X-Men book I've read in ages. No joke.
Look, Matthias is crazy. However, it is a pretty damn good book. It's a lot of fun. It was one of those titles that moving forward that I was kind of skeptical about because it wasn't just something I was going to be into. But I definitely, like I said many times in the live feeds, if you like House of X and Powers of X or Powers of 10, you definitely want to check out at least the first issue of each one of these to see how they're moving the story forward. And this title, The Marauders, is definitely going to be the key story arc that does that and moves this forward. Yeah. And it's actually freaking hysterically awesome.
Yeah.
There's so much great stuff in this.
So for the concept of this, because I know the title is very misleading, we're getting Kitty Pryde as the main character. She's dealing with offers from the Hellfire Club. Yeah. Well, she's dealing with the offers from the Hellfire Club for a new job. She's incapable of getting to Krakoa through the Krakoan portals, which is obviously how all the other mutants are making their way to the island. And she discovers Wolverine's stash of alcohol and piracy all in one issue. It's amazing.
Yeah, Wolverine's my spirit animal.
Yeah, I'm not always the hugest fan of Gary Dugan's writing, but he knocked this one out of the park in every way possible. And Matteo Lilloli's artwork is absolutely stunning. I would buy every single page of original art in this issue if it's available. And trust me, I messaged Matteo, so I'm hoping that is something that is available.
It is actually pretty damn good. And the reason I say it's going to be one of the key books that moves this story forward is because if you remember in House and Powers, they basically set up the Hellfire Club is going to be the organization that moves the drugs from Krakoa to the other mutants that decided not to sign up with Krakoa onto the X-Men initiative there. And so they're going to be in charge of moving it through the black market, and the Marauders are going to be the team that does it over the open high seas. And, I mean...
And they're doing other good things. They're not just drug peddlers, I will state. But we don't want to spoil that for you.
Peddlers and pirates and mutants, and it's just cool.
Yeah, Kitty Pryde's the stash.
Yeah, and it's funny. The Wolverine's got a grocery list in here.
All right, as much as I love all of Jonathan Hickman's very detailed blueprints of the Summers Mansion, details from Sinister's Secret Club, the timeline of Moira McTaggart, nothing is better than Wolverine's shopping list.
It's fantastic. Like I said, he's my spirit animal. What else can we say about this? I think
anything else is just pure spoils.
Broad stroking it here, but
it's awesome. It is honestly, dude. If for any reason you buy this and you don't like it, I will personally buy it and add it to my personal collection. You won't even go back to the store. That's how much I love this book. Yeah, Marauders, don't miss out. All right, moving on. We have a bunch of other great ones coming out.
This row.
Yeah, I didn't even need to after that. That was the end of it. Mask is back in stock. Dark Horse's new take on the Mask. It is hardly the lighthearted comedy that Jim Carrey was in, but it is the classic Mask back, and I pledge allegiance to the Mask. Scotty Young's great Midwestern fantasy Harry Potter-style book, Middle West. It's its 12th issue this week with a great interior artwork by George Corona. And then we have Monday Fatality, another great Source Point Press book that Richard's going to give you a brief overview on.
All right, so Source Point is always one that draws my interest just because they have such intriguing stuff, and the artwork on the cover made me pick it up off the shelf yesterday. This one is definitely not for families. It is definitely very much adult material here. I open it up, and the first thing you see is like, whoa, not for kids. That said, best way to describe this one, I guess, would be devil-worshipping cult S&M. So, I don't know if I could say much more than that without needing to be censored on Facebook.
Yeah, it becomes a mature title, much like another one we'll be talking about shortly.
Absolutely, but the artwork in it is fantastic, and it definitely has a very dark, gritty, occult-like feel to it. So if you're into that stuff and you're into some kinky stuff, this one's for you.
We're both fishing for words today. We were so tired. So then, if you want another mature book, you can't get better than a Money Shot. Yes, Money Shot, the brand new comic from Vault Publishing, Vault Comics. My personal pick of the week. I absolutely love this. It is amazing. It has two great black bag covers where they are bagged, so you cannot actually see the interior artwork that is quite mature. One by the wonderful Mirka Andolfo, the other by the great Tim Seeley, who is also writing this book. You have a great A cover and a wonderful homage cover by the wonderful Nathan Gooden, who is a customer here at Knowhere Games and Comics. But I would love to talk this one up. Did you want to talk about this a little bit too?
Oh, no, I'll let you talk.
So, this is basically the movie Idiocracy meets Zack and Miri Makes a Porno. And I know that's a very weird combination. But as we get into the eventual societal downfall, where our politicians no longer want to fund scientific endeavors, and aliens discover Earth but realize there's not much here to interact with, to waste their time with, we reach a point that a group of MIT students have developed teleportation-based technology that can go on an interstellar level. But it's so expensive to run that the government and no one is going to pay for it. So what happens in a society that has devolved that far away from advancing ourselves? Well, the one profitable thing in this world is porn. So these heroes decide they are going to become porn stars, screwing their way through the galaxy with various aliens to fund their scientific endeavors. And as graphic as that sounds, I assure you this is much more of a wonderful societal comedy, space romp, and adventure than it is anything adult. But it does have some graphic interior pages, so keep in mind. But I absolutely love this book. I cannot stress how much I'm enjoying it. So if you're a fan of mature reader books, give this one a shot. Vault did a great job. It's Tim Seeley, one of the better writers out there in the comic industry. You don't want to go wrong. Wow, I just saw somebody make some very graphic hand signs off behind this camera, so I'm going to turn this around and go back to the comics.
So would you say it made your Peter tingle?
I would say that I saved for particularly the actually, I'm not going to say it that one. With the Amazing Spider-Man Full Circle. No. But yeah, no, I mean, this is such a fun book. Like, honestly, you don't get anything better than the porn star named Supermassive Black Hole.
That's true.
Yeah.
This actually book had me hooked from the very first line. So if you're questioning it, just open up the book, turn to the very first page, and if you're not buying it after that first line, there might be something wrong with you.
Yeah, you're just holding the camera to keep me on screen with this, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So Money Shot, though, serious, this is my pick of the week. As much as I love Marauders, and oh my god, do I love Marauders. Money Shot is my pick of the week. It's a good one. You absolutely love it. You know, we love the guys at Vault. They don't put out bad comics. They really don't. All of their stuff is amazing, and this one is absolutely brilliant. So make sure you grab that. As we move on, and remind you that Powers of 10 is fully stocked. If for any reason you're missing this, you need to get this to start reading the new Dawn of the X books like X-Men #1, Marauders, and then all the other amazing 4 titles, X-Force, Excalibur, New Mutants, and Fallen Angels. Antarctic Press finally has gotten us the 8th issue of Punchline, a fun female superhero. Vault has another great one, Resonant, on its 4th issue of this dark and twisted horror in a dystopian future. Post-apocalyptic dystopian, I suppose I should say. Rat Queens has finally got a new issue out with issue number 19. Beautiful cover on that one. And if you'll notice, it's a new writer. Red Hood and the Outlaws, it's issue 39 as Scott Lobdell continues his dark tale of Jason Todd. Red Sonja and Vampirella are hanging out with Betty and Veronica as we get through the first half of this awesome combination of unlikely heroes to be associating themselves together with absolutely amazing covers. Gotta love Braga's artwork on that. Just fun stuff. Dan Parent kicking butt. All great. You're definitely going to want to read this because coming up in issue number 7 or 8, there might be some familiar sights in the interiors. Check this out. Once again, another great Vault title, Sarah and the Royal Stars, continues a wonderful fantasy adventure with Persian mythology. Sharky, the Bounty Hunter, wraps up its 6th issue right now, the final part of Mark Miller's 1st volume with the great Simone Bianchi on it, and we're going to talk to the great Richard Rebello to discuss how this is such an awesome book that hopefully will soon be a Netflix series.
Should be a Netflix series, and I can't wait till it is, because it's actually a great little story. I know it's kind of odd to discuss it on the final issue, but this one I actually asked Matthias if I could say something on it because this series wraps up with a really cool, heartfelt moment at the end. Pulls on your heartstrings. It totally came out of, wasn't fully expecting that from this title. But it's a good little story. It's definitely worth checking out. There might be some of the earlier issues still on the back issue bins over there.
We do have all 6 in stock at the moment.
And like you said, it's Millar's titles are signed over to Netflix, so they got first dibs on it all. And so I expect this one to kind of be one of the first ones that they do. It's pretty good. And the final probably 5 pages of this really made me want to see it on a TV screen.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, I would love to see that character in his own, ongoing TV series at this point.
Yeah, I'm all about extra Bill, though.
Yeah.
that character is cool.
So Sharky, with notably multiple amazing variants that you're going to want to pick up, come through the shop, take a look, see which one you want, much like you did with Spawn 300 and 301, that we have a restock on, that historical groundbreaking issue. Get ready, because 302 is going to get intense with the new female Spawn. Show's End hits its 3rd issue from the great guys at Mad Cave Studios. Well, Marvel Action Spider-Man, IDW's all-ages Spider-Man title, introduces Venom. So you have Peter, Miles, and Gwen all going up against the symbiote-wearing beast that is Eddie Brock. Star Wars Allegiance, the lead-in to the brand new movie Rise of the Skywalkers, hits its 3rd of its weekly releases. Some awesome stuff there as we get closer towards the final film. Star Wars itself also is racing towards the end of something with issue 73 out today, which these are all Allegiance. I just realized we're out. That is the last copy of Star Wars number 73. Wow. This is a popular selling series, and it ends on issue 75. So make sure you run and grab this awesome tale before it restarts between Empire and Return of the Jedi as a new Star Wars series. Stranger Skies over East Berlin is once again restocked because we know you all love that. Strike Force number 2 continues the awesome Teenie Howard tale of a special ops group going after some demonic threats and what we all once thought was Damien Hellstrom. But is it not? You'll have to grab this issue to find out. Swamp Thing gets an amazing 100-page giant for just $5 with some wonderful tales from some of the best paranormal visions of the DC universe. Well, Tommy Gun Wizards brings magic to the Prohibition era as Christian Ward's tale of Chicago-style gangsters dealing in... I'm just so tired right now. I apologize for anyone watching. Dealing in smuggling of magic in this awesome new miniseries is now on its 3rd issue. Tony Stark Iron Man hits issue 17 as we continue the Ultron agenda as the 2 robotic and intelligence masters of the Marvel Universe go in with a wonderful Mary Jane variant. Unbound is a brand new series from Zenescope with some great covers that you'll want to check out. And Richard will give you the quick rundown on that new Ralph Tedesco piece.
Certainly. This is a story takes place on a planet called Ether. It's basically about a werewolf hunter. I can't remember his name, Lucas, hunting down with his new partner, Marna, and they're hunting down the mob leader who happens to be a Lycan. Zenescope, obviously already has all the great artwork and everything like that. They're now starting to kind of diversify their portfolio as far as the type of stories go. And I'm really eager to see what else they got on the slate for coming up. But this is a good jumping off on point. It's actually the first book, but if you like Zenescope's artwork and everything like that, this is and wanted to change it up, from the Grimm's fairy tales and everything. This is a good book to do that with. Yeah,
this is another one that we had talked about on our final order cutoff videos. It sold rather well, particularly the covers that we mentioned. So once again,
they had some absolutely mind-blowing covers for this, as they always do. So I remember talking to them at Comic-Con, and they were mentioning, they were actually asking me if I collect because of the covers or the stories and everything like that, and they were definitely trying to grab a different type of audience, and this one will do that. So
moving on, we have Jane Foster, Valkyrie, spinning out of Jason Aaron's epic Thor run. We have Jane doing a much greater role as the defender of the dead and more. Issue number 4 out today with a beautiful, beautiful Mary Jane variant, as well as our main cover of Jane Foster in her Valkyrie form. And then we wrap things up this week with You Are Obsolete. Not trying to say that to you, video watchers. Thank you all for watching. But issue number 2 of the Aftershock series, where kids are killing adults with a new app on their phone, is a rather interesting and unique horror. Once again, Aftershock just really going out there and taking some very unique jumps and tales that are surprisingly really paying off and very fun to read. So with that, that is the end of the comics that are out this week. Unless we talk about these grand deals of some of the greatest classic tales that you will find, Richard Robello will bring for us.
Shame. My pick of the week, and probably the best thing released this week, the original Swamp Thing story, issue number 1.
First Alec Holland.
Yeah, this is a fantastic read. Of course, if you want the original, they have it on the wall for the original 20 cents over there.
No.
So, but, this is in mint condition for only 80 cents more. But anyways, if you're a fan of the DC streaming Swamp Thing, this is the story that kicked it all off. So definitely pick it up. Then you also have, it's actually X Factor number 6, First Apocalypse, first full appearance of Apocalypse. And X-Men, I'm trying to remember the issue number, is it 17? Sorry, it's a long day. X-Men 17, first appearance of Quanon, who becomes Psylocke. So, she's actually the Psylocke that's going to be moving forward in the new
Fallen
X
Angels.
titles and the Fallen Angels. So this is an important one to get, so you can kind of get her backstory. So.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And those ones are all just $1. You can find them in our dollar comics room. And those are the new comics that came out today. New Comic Book Day, Wednesday, October 23rd. Thank you all for watching.